Welcome to a Voice in the Wilderness discipleship series. I am your host, Matt Luton. Thank you for joining us in this video. This is an introduction video to just give you the background information on the how all of this came together, like the thoughts and the passions behind it. Some information about me and really the direction where the channel is headed as I continue to make content and then put out on YouTube. So a little bit about me. I'm a North Carolina kid. I joined the Army, kind of not quite out of high school, but, college age kid. I joined the Army, 20 years, 25 days and retired. My Army career, I was stationed at Fort Hood, Fort Campbell, and Fort Bragg primarily. If you're an Army person, that's like the big three duty stations. My career looks kind of crazy because I've been in FORSCOM, SOCOM, TRADOC, MedCom. So I've got like an experience from a little bit of all kinds of different things. And I think, I appreciate it now because it got to provide a lot of experience for me. Some of the brainchild of this and where all this has culminated when we start talking about discipleship, somewhere along my Army career, I found myself in this very dark space. And I remember being a believer in Jesus as a kid and, kind of that altar call reaction when I was in junior high. But my life didn't reflect that of a Christian, or at least it didn't look anything. Would have never led anybody to Jesus for sure. I don't think I was necessarily a terrible person, even though I probably did get involved in some, criminal behavior, probably some drugs and alcohol along the way. I joined the Army to get away from some of that. But my lifestyle did not split Christian at all, really. But I found myself in this dark space, and it's just kind of a really, really a pit of despair, as David would say. And I had someone kind of tell me, like, hey, man, get back in the church. And it led me into dedicating my life to Christ, becoming a follower, it put me in a space where it's like I needed to be much more than just like a mental believer of Jesus. I needed to follow him. A couple of years, past beyond that point, I'm in this space and I'm like, man, discipleship is what I was missing the entire time. I realized that, then some self-reflection, I was like, I questioned myself, would I've been in the same position had I had other people around me that was actually trying to help me in this process and that journey and say, hey, like what you're doing doesn't look like Jesus. If you want to follow Jesus, you maybe need to do these things. And I didn't really have that. There were some good examples that was around me, but, had a few mentors, but especially when I was in the Army, I didn't have anybody. So it kind of, it lit this passion for me that I wanted to help other people. But I also felt like I was kind of new to the spiritual disciplines and trying to walk this journey. So I was like, I need to grow in this. I need to grow so I can help other people grow. And it's thinking about discipleship, Matthew 28, like the Great Commission, like we need to go and, make other disciples, but we have to be a disciple ourselves in order to do this. And so it's just been on this journey for years now, trying to navigate this. And, as I'm growing in that area and that, experience, I was like, man, I've got a passion for men's ministry, particular guys in the Army, like guys in the military, I can relate to some of the experiences, the culture, just the experience altogether, the lifestyle. So that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to help and help walk people through this. As far as the name, Voice of the Wilderness, or, that's got its links with John the Baptist. And I found myself the last couple of years as I was gearing up for retirement. And as I retired, thinking about John the Baptist and out of the biblical heroes, I think we should always want to be like Jesus. That's the obvious thing, but started thinking about John the Baptist more and more. And I couldn't shake it and had never put much thought into him previously. But a couple of connecting points that I had was one was that he chose a life of simplicity. I respected it, and I just kind of started looking at our culture. Like, I think we're trained to always want more and more things. And he walked this life of simplicity, and I questioned whether or not like this lifestyle that he had facilitated his walk with God. And it was just questions I started asking. The other thing was, this prophecy was he was prepare the way for Jesus. And I think as Christians, we're awaiting the return of our King. And I was like, that should be all of our missions is like, are we preparing the way for his return? Like by walking a life of discipleship and helping lead others, not only to introduce them to Jesus, but also to be more like him. John the Baptist was candid. He spoke his mind about things, which, got him into trouble. But I respected it. It was kind of a connection point because I found myself in a position where, working in vocational ministry and just connecting with other Christians and people that had worked in ministry or, some people that wanted to. And, I've had to have these candid conversations with people and, something, in a respectful and polite ways. And I'm not saying I'm John the Baptist. I'm certainly not. But it was just kind of something like it was a connecting point. I found myself like, hey, man, we've got to talk about this clearly. Like, is this really what we're supposed to be doing? Or is this really where Jesus would have us do these things? And I just respected it. And it just got to help lead me. As far as the content goes, one of the things that I'm going to encourage you in is to live life in a community. And you got to kind of build this. And when I start thinking about discipleship, this is kind of the foundation, right? I asked a pastor a couple years ago, like, how would you define discipleship? Always a question for me to ask experienced church leaders. And his response was pretty good because he said, you're always being discipled by something. He's like, whether it's television, computer, your phone, or whatever, he's like, there's always something discipling you. And I contemplated this. I was like, it's about influence. I know disciple, like if you're kind of digging into the definition of it, you're kind of looking at like a teacher-student relationship. But in the West, like, a student relationship, we sit in a classroom and receive information, but, truly we're to walk in a lifestyle change, not just in learn, but transform ourselves. And so like we're transformed and we're shaped by what influences us. So as far as the how I would say like moving forward, if you're going to follow the channel, is take this information. If you're just doing this by yourself and you're looking at it, yeah, that's good. What'd be better if you had somebody alongside of you so that you can, share the information, reflect on it, kind of have that moment of truth conversation about it, discuss it. What's best would be in the context of small group. And this is like having a group of Christians around you. So primarily, like as far as the small group goes, there's going to be 12 tenets that are kind of written out to kind of walk through this. So I have them posted up here. As you see them, that's really a foundational of pretty much the majority of the videos. There's going to be some other topics, book reviews will be one of them I like to read. Again, I kind of mentioned influence. I read books that are trying to influence me to be more like Christ or, be a better Christian. Also like, we all have struggles and thoughts and, things in culture that come up, experiences and discussions. I'm going to share those with you as well. Like, it just kind of like talk through those things. Maybe it's something that you can relate to and it will help you grow as we kind of discuss it. Other things, I would like to challenge you though, as you kind of go along with your faith journey, whether or not you follow this channel or not. So ask yourself this, and self-evaluation is really important. You have to be honest with yourself. And this is why I kind of found myself at one point in time, and I still do this every day. This is a daily thing now. It's not even, and it's rightfully so to do this constantly. Self-evaluate and ask, like, am I being a good disciple? Or am I being a disciple in all? Like, I need to, make the decision to, like, if I'm not, then I need to make adjustments. So that's the challenge. I'll leave that challenge to you. And as far as the influence goes, you know, try to navigate what things are influencing you. Take it as you will, and just look at it, evaluate it, and try to make those decisions. So that's pretty much the introduction to this channel. I look forward to producing more content. I hope that it really helps you in your journey. I would like to ask you if you would like this video, subscribe to the channel and share it with a friend. Build a small group around this, or use it as complimentary information to a small group if you're in one. But really, I'm hoping that it helps you grow. It's really fundamental information. And look forward to producing more content, and see you later.